In ancient Japan, there lived a hard-working farmer named Taro who tended his crops diligently. Despite his hard work, Taro often felt dissatisfied with his life and longed for something more meaningful. One day, he decided to seek the wisdom of the local Zen master, who was renowned for his teachings on the path of enlightenment and the nature of reality. After walking for many miles, Taro arrived at the temple where the master resided and asked him how he could achieve enlightenment. The master replied that it couldn't be attained through effort alone, and that it required a shift in one's perception of reality. Taro nodded, but he didn't really understand. The master then took Taro to a nearby pond and asked him to look at his reflection in the water. When Taro saw his reflection, the master asked him what he saw. Taro replied that he saw himself. The master then asked Taro to throw a stone into the water, and when the ripples had settled, he asked again what Taro saw. Taro replied that he saw his reflection distorted by the ripples. The master explained that Taro's mind was like the surface of the water, and when it was calm and still, he could see things clearly. But when it was disturbed, his perception became distorted. To achieve enlightenment, Taro must learn to calm his mind and see things as they truly are. Taro realized that he had been so caught up in his own desires and frustrations that he had been unable to see the world clearly. He thanked the master for his teachings and returned home determined to apply what he had learned. Over the following weeks and months, Taro practiced meditation and mindfulness, learning to calm his mind and see things with greater clarity. He found that the more he let go of his attachment to his desires and fears, the more peaceful and contented he became. One day, while tending his fields, Taro had a profound realization. He saw that everything in the world was interconnected, and that his own happiness and well-being were intimately connected to the well-being of others and the natural world around him. He felt a deep sense of compassion and connection with all beings, and he knew that this was the key to true happiness and enlightenment. From that day forward, Taro lived his life with a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. He worked hard to cultivate his crops and care for his family and community, but he did so with a spirit of selflessness and compassion. He knew that the path to enlightenment was not a solitary one, but one that required him to help others and work for the greater good. Taro lived a long and fulfilling life, sharing his wisdom and compassion with all who crossed his path. The moral of the story is that by letting go of attachments to desires and fears, we can develop a sense of compassion and interconnectedness with all beings and with the natural world around us. By living a life of selflessness and working for the greater good, we can find meaning and purpose and inspire others to seek the path of enlightenment as well.